So lesson number 5 is entitled Police Encounters. And we don't talk about there being a counseling component to this because the entire lesson we view as counseling. And the counseling couldn't be more topical. It is about that topic of police encounters, which, as we all know, is in the news. And there have been a number of tragic situations involving police and citizens here in Cleveland and around the nation. So we present that in the form, again, of 2 hypotheticals and have the students look at the facts of the hypotheticals and take a look at those involved in them and decide who, in their opinion, acted properly or improperly in the situation we present. Some of them are citizens, some of them are police in the hypotheticals. Once we've briefly discussed the 2 hypotheticals, we then give them, the students, a handout called The Law and You, which is an excellent short publication, and it's intended for our audience, students. And it was publicized by the NAACP and a group called the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, which are police chiefs around the country, and Allstate Insurance. And what this pamphlet does is talk about if you're stopped in a car, if you're stopped on the street, if a policeman comes to your house to make an arrest, what are the do's and don'ts for you as a citizen in that situation? Because we don't want our young people being in a situation where, because they didn't know what the do's and don'ts are in a police encounter, the encounter escalates and leads to one of the tragedies that we have been reading about. So they're very, very helpful summaries of what the proper behavior is so that you can avoid a bad situation. Then we go back, now that they're armed with that knowledge, we go back to those hypotheticals and have them review again how the young people, the citizens reacted in the hypothetical, and then how the police reacted, and see if they have any different view, having read The Law and You, of the conduct. An important part of this lesson, a really important part of this lesson, is we don't want our students to feel powerless. And so we spend a lot of time talking about remedies. What remedies do you have if you believe that you've been treated improperly? And there are many. And we then go back through some of the cases that we talk about at the beginning that are from Cleveland and national, and talk about, in fact, what did happen. Things like civil lawsuits and settlements, criminal investigations and prosecution, and disciplinary action by the city or police department itself. We conclude by talking about a very closely related topic, which is the consent decree between the United States Justice Department and the city of Cleveland in regard to a pattern and practice of the police department of improper conduct. And what are the elements of the consent decree, and where are we in the consent decree? And right now, as the students will learn, we're very much involved with getting input from the citizens about what they would like in the consent decree, which is something that the police will have to follow. So again, that sense somewhat of empowerment, and a sense that there are some things going on in the community that may be helpful in preventing future police encounters that would lead to tragedy. We conclude that lesson, as we do the others, with Jeopardy.